Hey guys, Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa.
Yes, and we've got a big episode on this Revog Games podcast that we do weekly this week. I mean, usually sometimes we tell you, like, hey, not that much news happened, blah, blah, blah. Even though not a lot of big game releases are coming out anytime soon, a lot of news dropped because it's supposed to be E3 time, but obviously there's no E3 this year and maybe never again, who knows. But a bunch of stuff happened. We had the Xbox Bethesda showcase. We have what's the official title for that? The Jeff Keighley's thing, the Summer Game Fest.
Summer Games. Yeah, Summer Game
Fest. Yeah. So we have all the announcements from there. So yeah, let's just get right into it because there's so much to cover. So obviously we had the Xbox / Bethesda showcase. The big news, or not so much news, but the thing that people wanted to see the most was Starfield's gameplay, the reveal of more than just, that, little kind of teaser trailer that was just kind of cinematics. We finally got some, actually a good amount. I think it was a good 15 minutes worth of a video.
A lot more than way more than I thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
What I mean? To be completely honest.
I thought we were going to get about 5 or 6 minutes, but we got to, they showed off the fighting mechanics, the gunplay. They showed off that you can fly the actual ship, and there's actually space combat. There's customization, obviously, with your character, but also with the ship itself. Talking about, like, there's 1,000 planets, which we'll get into in a little bit. But a lot of people's reactions were, I think, pretty positive, but people were saying how it looked like the joke was it was No Man's Skyrim or whatever. Like,
yeah,
instead of
No Man's Sky. I actually like that. No Man's Skyrim.
So anyways, what was your takeaway when you saw this reveal?
My overall takeaway was it was a positive. I was pretty happy with what I saw, but skeptical. The gunplay looks a little clunky to me.
Mm-hmm.
There were some parts where I was pretty impressed with their gunplay because they're not exactly known for their gunplay.
No,
Bethesda, they're known for their RPG mechanics. And I understand that, like, you can't exactly have the most realistic guns in an RPG to, like, make it work in a setting in space either,
Mm-hmm.
But it looked a little clunky, so I hope that the combat gets polished. I hope that they really do polish that. The flight looked cool. I like the fact that you can customize your entire spaceship, and that's cool. And obviously it has uses, like, you're not just, like, making it look, I mean, you're making it look cool, obviously, but it has uses, that everything that you put onto your ship and take off and modify. They didn't show the traversal from planet to space, which leads me to believe that it's not No Man's Sky. I think there's going to be a loading screen there.
I think it's that transition screen that we saw. If you watch the footage, it basically shows your ship taking off, and then it just kind of fades into you're in space. So I have a feeling that's kind of going to be what it is.
Which is unfortunate. It is what it is, though. They at no point in time were they like, hey, this is going to be one of those games where you can, like, go in and out of the atmosphere, the stratosphere.
Hang around the Hulu Motel.
And, like that, I love No Man's Sky for that. It's really cool. But yeah, and it also just makes sense for, like, an RPG. It wouldn't, like, you wouldn't just be able to land your ship anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it would probably, like, break the world, or you'd, like, get to certain places where you're not supposed to go yet for quests or whatever. Certain things like that. There's got to be certain barriers in place, and I'd imagine that's having certain planets locked off and stuff. He spoke about how many planets there are and how many solar systems there are. And I'd imagine most of the planets are probably going to be pretty barren.
Yeah.
But, like, I'd also imagine most of them are going to be inaccessible, because or it's just going to be, it's that transition of you landing somewhere and it's desolate. Well, like, there was an emphasis on resource collection, which did get me excited. You can, like, set up your bases and, like, you farm. I'm guessing, like, mine for ore and stuff, and set up, like, your automatic stuff on various planets. I like
similar
that kind of
to
stuff. I like resource management stuff.
Fallout 76. Fallout 76 has a survival aspect to it, where you build your own camp, and you can kind of gather resources. And I guess they're taking that gameplay mechanic to another level. For Starfield. Yeah, the 1,000 planets thing is a little concerning in a way, because yes, it just sounds like it's gonna have all these like planets are. There's no way there's gonna be 1,000 really designed planets. Do you know what I mean?
No,
So they're.
I was thinking like at most maybe 20. You know what I mean? Like really
Mm-hmm,
like in depth kind of place for you to go to. I'd
mm-hmm,
imagine most of them are just going to be like copy and paste things. If they do it well, it could be like they probably generated. It's not going to be different for everybody. You know what I mean? It's the same 1,000 planets for
mm-hmm,
everyone. They're pre-generated. They're all going to be very similar to a certain degree. But
mm-hmm,
that's not what the main basis of the game is. I'd imagine. You know, as long as the story's good, which they didn't show much about the story, and I'm quite happy about that. I don't
mm-hmm.
want to know anything about the story because I think it's better going in blind to something like that, especially when it's a brand you can trust. I haven't really been disappointed by any of their stories so far, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And their immersion, as long as the story is good, the immersion is good, the RPG mechanics look good. You know what I mean? So that stuff did look good as well. Yeah, I'm a little, yeah, a little iffy on like the gunplay and the 1,000 planet thing. I don't know. I'm more skeptical now than I ever was before for some reason, which is a bit odd, but I'm also happy to at least see gameplay and see what's happening because it's still, at the end of the day, even if I'm skeptical, it still looks like something I would enjoy playing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a bit more casual to my liking, like it doesn't look difficult. You know,
Mm-hmm.
is the thing. And I would, it doesn't a game doesn't have to be difficult, but like I just want more deep combat mechanics. And from the combat that we saw, it seemed very like
Yeah,
sub
I
level.
mean,
It's just you spraying whatever weapon you have. You know?
Bethesda has never been known for their combat mechanics. You know, I mean, Fallout had VATS because their combat
Hmm.
wasn't that great, and as the years have gone on, they've gotten better at it. But it's never, it's not to the level of, Halo or something like that. It's just never
Yeah.
going to be like that. I have a feeling this is probably going to feel a lot more like Cyberpunk 2077 in terms of combat.
Yeah.
Where
I
that was
don't
like,
think that this is going to be an amazing game for them. Like, I don't think that this is going to be their next Elder Scrolls series, which is
mm-hmm,
that's the hope they had for this series.
mm-hmm,
I think that Bethesda, excuse me, even if the game sells well and people love it, I don't think it's going to hit the hype that Todd Howard wants, where it's going to be a brand new IP where they're going to have Starfield 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know what I mean? Like the Elder Scrolls series. At least not from what I saw.
I think it really
You know?
depends, and it depends on the story and the engagement in terms of
Mm.
the problem with Fallout 76, and it's a problem that may pop up here. We'll see if they learned lessons from Fallout 76. Is that Fallout 76, especially when it first started, was very barren, right? There was like
Yeah.
not much to do. There's a lot of space, but not much to do. You didn't talk to anyone. You didn't whatever. All you do was like read, computer things and listen to audio logs, and that was it. Then later, when they did the Wastelanders update, they added the NPCs. They added more story to it. So hopefully they learned some lessons from that.
Yeah.
This going.
I think I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did because look, they showed off some really cool areas where it's like markets and bars and stuff, and
Mhm.
there's at least like quite a bit of NPCs.
That part
walking
looked
around.
cool. That was my favorite thing
Yeah.
to see. Was all the different
like
areas.
a city and stuff like that. So I know for sure we're gonna have like knowing them as well. We're probably gonna have at least one like a couple like maybe one like 3 really decent planets. You know what I mean? Where it's gonna be like really polished, bunch of different areas to go through. But for the most part, of those 1,000 planets, I'm sure at least 80% of them are going to be barren
More than
wastelands that are
80%.
just going to be there. But it's just going to be there for like resource management. You know what I mean? You're going to be like you're going to be in your solar system doing missions or whatever.
Do you
and you're
remember?
gonna need a certain resource, and you're going to
Remember
go
when
set
you
up a fucking base and go mine it. You know?
Yeah, remember in Mass Effect, was it 2, where you had to like mine the ores and you just like scan the planets? That's
Mhm.
like basically what I feel like this is gonna be, except for this one you actually have to.
Except a lot more hands-on.
Yeah, you actually have to
way
go
more
down
hands-on.
there instead of just a little
Exactly.
scan.
Which I'm actually not mad about because I love resource management games. Like one of my favorite games in the world to play is Satisfactory. It has a co-op mode, but I hate the co-op mode. I love playing that game alone and just being on a desolate planet, just setting up like mines and coal mines and oil mines and just collecting resources and managing them, and it's quite satisfying, like setting up like a good like supply chain, you know. So yeah,
the graphics look really good. I really was
they
impressed by
do.
it.
I was gonna
Except
say,
for the player models or the face models. Those are like
they look like Fallout. You know what I mean? They
yes,
do look
but
like Fallout faces in a sense, like the shapes and stuff.
yeah,
The bodies
Bethesda's
make
never
like
been
typical
that great
Fallout.
about face models. Just because they
Then
have
again,
to
I
do.
guess you could. I was gonna say, I guess you could say the same with Skyrim. It's
Yeah.
also very similar to Fallout. Like they all
Yeah,
have those kind of
Bethesda.
like.
Yeah, Bethesda has that look that they're doing open world. They have like a bazillion
Mhm.
characters, so they just like have a little little template
There's always
thing, and they're
so
like,
much there's like always so much definition on their cheekbones, I've
yeah,
noticed.
yeah.
Like every single Bethesda game, all
And
their
they also
characters look
all have the
yeah.
dead eye thing where they just like kind of look
Mm-hmm.
stare right at you and like
True, yeah.
But anyways, yeah. I'm actually watching this. I am optimistic that it's going to be a fun and good game. And I actually, after seeing this, I'm glad that they delayed it till next year.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they did not give a release date, but we have a release window because we know that everything that they announced in this showcase is within 12 months. So that, and we know this
Okay.
is coming out next year, which means this is definitely coming
I
out
think it'll be
between
early next year.
January and June.
Quarter one,
So
quarter
it means
two, yeah.
it's going to be in the first half of next year. We'll see
Yeah.
exactly when.
Yeah. Look, all like even though I complain about the gunplay currently, I hope that they do polish that. You take that aside. What I'm excited for is the narrative choices that you can make and the different choices you can make and the different things you can do. Like that's a cool thing. Like it seems like there's a huge emphasis on factions. You know what I mean? Well, they've spoken about this a long time before, but having the different factions, who are you going to join, who are you going to work with, what are you going to do? I'm excited for that. They've always had it. They've always had it in their games like Fallout and the Elder Scrolls series, and you get to pick a clan, and it never really carried much weight. Well, in the Fallout series, I'd say more than the Skyrim series. In Skyrim, it didn't matter who you really decided to choose to side with. You know what I mean? The game was still the same essentially. But I have a feeling that this is the kind of game where there are going to be noticeable changes based on who you're playing or who you're aligned with or what you're doing. And I'm excited for that aspect. I mean, looking at the customization, like you have so many different character backgrounds. You
Hang
can be
around
a
the
beast
Hulu
hunter, a bouncer, bounty hunter, chef, combat medic, cyber runner, cyberneticist, whatever that is, a diplomat, an explorer, a gangster, a homesteader, industrialist, a long hauler, pilgrim, Professor Ronan. Obviously, I'm assuming all those backgrounds would come with certain bonus stats or whatever. But still, it's and the customization. I will say it they did put an emphasis on their customization. It is by far their most in-depth character customization that they've ever done before. Because their character, it's always been very bare bones. I'd say Fallout 4 had a pretty good one, and Fallout 76 it wasn't bad, you know. Fallout 76 had a pretty decent one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they were never known for their character customization. It was never really that good. They always looked horrendous. So it looks really good now. Everything looks a bit polished on that end, which is nice.
Yeah. Also, in building your bases, you can hire people to work, not real people, but hire NPCs to work at your bases.
That's a
and on
lot
your
like
ship.
No Man's Sky as well.
Yeah. So yeah,
You
that's
set
why
up,
there's
like,
a lot of
bases and
comparisons to No Man's Sky.
Which is why the game is right now popping off again. Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trending after the Starfield reveal.
What do you think
Which is
about
great too, because it's on Game Pass.
What do you think about the space battle gameplay?
Hang around the Hulu
Once again, like overall, like the space combat, I feel the same way about the gun combat, where it's like it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good either. You know,
It looks very simplistic, right?
Yeah.
Both the
It just seems
gun
seems very
gameplay.
bare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully they can polish that up.
The space combat looked a little unrealistic as well for me. Like most space shooters, or even any kind of like, aviation game, whether you're playing anything where you're either like in a jet or in a space, they have that thing where you're shooting and there's usually like a thing that tells you to aim in front of where you're shooting from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like that's what I didn't like, is that you were just like they were just shooting straight and hitting the ships, and I was like, but they're moving. You're in space. Everyone's flying around.
Yeah.
Like surely you got to shoot in front of where they're going. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's the case in real life, of course, but every other game to this point has been like that. I don't know why they wouldn't break the mold per se, you know.
So
Then
yeah,
again, Bethesda's very much their own studio, and they always do their own thing. They're always very much uniquely themselves, I'd say.
yeah. So I would say, those two things I think need some more work, and maybe that's why there is a delay. But overall, remember, these Bethesda games, Skyrim, Fallout, you never really play them for the combat, right? It's about the exploration, it's about the storyline, it's about the
The RPG,
RPG elements, yes. So
like, I'm looking forward to whatever loot they have in this. You know what I mean? By the looks of things, though, for weapons wise, because they would have showed off if they had like a wide range of weapons. They would have showed it off. So the fact that they didn't leads me to think that the weapons mechanics, or like the amount of weapons and different stuff you get, is going to be very limited. But I'm hoping, because of the customization you can do to your spaceship, I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of like cool armor loot or something you can change your character looking with. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the RPG mechanics, like the dialogue choices and the world choices and stuff like that.
All right. Next thing up, this one was a surprise announcement. Came out of nowhere, at least for me, because Phil Spencer was teeing up and saying, "Oh, I respect this guy. I always wanted to work with him." And I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be someone that like is kind of known in the industry, but maybe not totally known, But then it ended up being Hideo Kojima. I was like, "Oh,
I was shook. I was not expecting him."
Yeah, it was a big surprise. And look, this game is not going to be coming out anytime soon. This is just an announcement that they have partnered up, not announcement of the title, what type of game.
This could be a 6-year, 7-year production.
Oh yeah, this could be. And he mentioned cloud gaming as being integral into this, so who knows what this actually is. But it's a kind of a shot against Sony, right? Sony just bought Bungie recently, the original creators of Halo, and even though that's not going it's staying cross-platform, which is good for Xbox owners. This Hideo Kojima game is going to be an exclusive, much like Death Stranding is exclusive to the PlayStation brand. So I was surprised by this. It doesn't sound quite like Kojima Productions is going to be like handling this game. It seems more like he's
a partnership or something,
He's directing it and giving all the direction, but it's actually Xbox that's actually making the game. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll be honest, man. Like this really did take me by surprise, but it was also such like a, for the lack of a better term, such a cock tease, because it's like, what is they didn't say shit about what it is, or like not even like a little hint, you know what I mean, as to like what we can expect. So like right off the basis, the only thing we can go by is the previous game that he's done. And by that, there's nothing to go off of. Like, he's not going to do the same thing as Death Stranding.
No.
He's not going to make another walking simulator.
So
what's going to be his next weird artistic fucking thing? You know what I mean?
I don't know, but I have a feeling that this announcement was rushed for this showcase.
The running simulator? Do we get to be?
I think this announcement
was
supposed to be for later on, like either like later this year or maybe even next year. But I have a feeling because Starfield got delayed, they needed something. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something to be like, hey guys, here's something that's going to be exclusive that that you guys are going to want to play, that you're not going to be able to play anywhere else, even if it is many, many years away. I think they just want to kind of get that out there because, Game Pass has been kind of, fairly or unfairly been getting a bad rap lately because of the lack of AAA titles that are, not coming out this year. They're all coming out next year, and they came out last year. So feel like this is just something to be like, hey, keep this on your radar. But
Yeah.
no big, not like a ton of details on it though.
Yeah, still exciting. I mean, exciting stuff nonetheless. You know.
Yeah. Excited
Got
to
people's
hear more
attention.
about it, but I have a feeling we're not going to be hear much about it. Like
Yeah.
when they do their fall showcase, I don't expect to hear anything about this at all.
I was gonna say we'll get concept art in a year. We'll hear a whisper in like a year from now, maybe. You know.
Maybe a title a year from now.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe a title if
Yeah.
we're lucky.
Yeah. Here's a quick announcement. The Persona series is coming to Xbox and Game Pass.
Mhm.
Well, actually, no.
It was just coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, they're all coming to Game Pass. 3, 4, and 5. But 5 is the
Yes.
only one that has a release date, which is October 21st. Now, this is a series I've never gotten into, but I know it's like very beloved.
Mm-hmm.
You played this game or this franchise?
Yeah, I only ever really got super into Persona 5, which was the most recent one. And the reason why there's a release date for Persona 5 is because it's Persona 5 Royale, which is like the essentially almost like the Game of the Year edition, where it has like all the DLC, everything. It's almost like a brand new game compared to normal Persona. It was Persona 5 Royale. It adds so much content, it's almost a new game. If that makes any sense, you know. So that's cool. But it's, in my opinion, hands down, currently, because Final Fantasy no longer does it, but it's hands down the best turn-based RPG game out there. If you're a fan of turn-based RPGs, then the Persona series is great, you know. I only got, like I said, I was pretty late to the game, but I think it's a really good game. If you like turn-based RPGs, check out Persona 5. Going to be coming out to Game Pass soon. Persona 5 Royale. I haven't tried Persona 5 Royale. I've only played the base game because it's a PlayStation hit, so it got lowered to $20. So I picked it up at that.
So
point.
basically, it's going to be on every platform except for Nintendo Switch, because it's going to be for PC. It's already on
people
PlayStation.
have been praying for years to get those games on Switch, man.
Well, it seems like
I
a
feel bad.
very good
It'd be
fit,
perfect
right?
on the Switch. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Like it would be. It's perfect. It makes no sense that it's not on there. But yeah, no, great. Those are great games, all of them.
Yeah. This next one I think is kind of a sleeper, which is the Wolong Fallen Destiny from Team Ninja.
Yeah, I thought this was like a new Dynasty Warriors game or something.
But it
kind of had that
not.
vibe.
It's not, because it looks like
Or like Orochi Warriors. That
It's
also
like
made me
the-
think of that.
I think it's a third-person game, right? A third-person action game, from my understanding. Because that's kind of what Team
Could
Ninja
very much be, yeah.
specializes
for,
in.
yeah.
They did Ninja Gaiden, you know. I have a feeling like this is going to be kind of like taking that lore and kind of like of the Three
It's
Kingdoms.
just the amount of people that he was fighting made me think of the Warriors franchise.
Well, it is definitely
but
it's from that
yeah.
same time period, so it definitely has that kind of
Yeah.
feel and
Well, even
look
like
and
the
setting.
even like the combat, yeah. But you're right, it's probably more action RPG ish.
Yes. Yeah.
Just because that's what the studio is more used to.
But yeah, that's definitely something that was.
One of the things that like also I thought was quite cool that they showed off. Well, I wouldn't say cool because I don't know how I feel about it, but is
Hang around the
Minecraft
Hulu.
Legends. You know, because Minecraft is a huge IP. It almost looked like they were trying to like show off Minecraft 2 or something. Like it's the next Minecraft. It's even more blocks. But no, like this, it's almost like Legend of Zelda. Once again, like everybody seems to be going down that path, but it's almost like Breath of the Wild meets. Well, it's more. It looks more like an open world, a very light open world RPG, but set in the Minecraft world. I don't know too much about it, but the way the game played made it look like that. It was quite. Yeah, I don't know what to expect from that game. I thought possibly it was Minecraft Dungeons DLC or something, but no, it's like its whole own game. Yeah, I don't know what to expect, and it's coming out next year. It's a strategy game, action strategy game. But it's not an RTS because it's third person, but it's an action strategy game, which makes sense because it looked like you were sending minions to go and fight for you. So maybe it's kind of that vibe where you're. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of yeah, I like that. I don't know how the game's gonna do though. Don't know if there's any hype about it, but it's worth mentioning because I know it's a very big IP.
Another big reveal was Diablo 4. They showed off a new Necromancer class.
Diablo 4 was big, man. I'm so happy.
New gameplay.
And they had to. Yeah, they had to show Diablo 4 because of the like huge upset
Hang around
with
the
Diablo Immortal, the whole pay to play thing, and there's like such backlash about that. People are saying like the whole pay to play, pay to win kind of thing is not cool, and the devs are like, oh, but none of the items are behind paywalls. You can get all the items just by grinding. And it's like, yeah, but the things to upgrade the items you have to pay for, you know. So that's their way of being like, no,
Yeah.
you can grind for the items. I think there was an article recently that came out about a guy that spent. It was a Twitch streamer that spent I think $10,000 on in-game items and still like couldn't get a legendary gem or couldn't get like the things.
Yeah, they said if you want to get
needed to
everything in
level
the
up.
game, it's like over 100 Gs or something, which is ridiculous.
It's insane, yeah. This guy spent 10 grand and because it's still like loot box mechanics, so it seems like you might not even get what you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Diablo 4 was necessary, and God, it looked good, Dennis. There was a lot of changes they've made to the game overall. It looks like these big open world because it's always been a 4-player game. Well, it's not always been a 4-player game, but it's now more well known for being like a 4-player couch co-op kind of game that you can play with your friends. And it seems like there were 8-player game modes, which there were 8-player game modes, I believe, in Diablo 2. Could be wrong, but it was like an emphasis on like these big boss level battles where it's like a giant boss and 8 people are fighting it together. That looked really awesome and fun. I love that. Looks like there were a couple of changes that all the changes they made looks like it's definitely beneficial. The gameplay looks tight. They showed off the Necromancer, which isn't exactly surprising, but it is. I'm happy because it's my favorite class, and it's been in every Diablo game since Diablo 2 and 3, and now 4. It's a good class to have. Yeah, I mean, it looks fun. I'm really, really happy that they showed this off. It's looking good, which Blizzard needs a win. Lord knows Blizzard needs a fucking win, man. And hopefully this is it for them.
What's funny is I've never played Diablo before. Even though I was a big Blizzard fan, I was huge into StarCraft and Warcraft. Diablo never appealed to me. I feel like it maybe because the original game, like the character was like so small, and like you barely could see him, and he was just kind of you couldn't really see the
game only
detail.
popped off around Diablo 2 because I remember it wasn't that popular, but Diablo 2 is where like the big boom happened. Like that was where everybody was like, "This game is amazing."
But looking at Diablo 4, it seems much closer to where I feel like I could get into this, and also look at like you see these, like you mentioned, the big bosses, you see all these different things because in the original Diablo it was like it was a lot of dungeon crawling, repetitive enemies. You know what I mean?
This seems more open world. Like you're on a horse, and you've never had a mount ever, like ever. And in this, it looks like there's a mount. So, first of all, that was an issue when I was playing Diablo 3, and I've played that game so much I've played that game until it's bled dry, man. And at a certain point, when you're clearing out places, it is a pain in the ass to walk from point A to point B across large spaces of map. And if these maps are even bigger, thank God they added a mount. So I think that's quite cool as well. It seems like there's a mount now. Also, they said that it's like if you go into a dungeon and you clear out the dungeon, when you come back later, that could be a new like foothold or a new like area, or it could be a new dungeon. Like the map changes with what you do. You know what I mean? So you can go to a place, clear it out, then you can go do something else, come back, and then all of a sudden, the place that you cleared out is now a new encampment with NPCs you can talk to and people you can trade with and do things with. Or it's a brand new dungeon, or you know what I mean? So I like the fact that it changes up and stuff like that. The big boss battles look so cool as well. I know I said that before, but it's playing right now on my second monitor and it looks good. It looks fun.
There was a Sea of Thieves Season 7 trailer that also was shown. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC is coming. Then they should.
I'm looking forward to that. The Forza Hot Wheels DLC.
Yeah,
that looks fun. It looks really fun. It was a huge success with Forza Horizon, the previous Forza Horizon, so it would make sense that they would do it again, considering its previous success.
Yeah. Fallout 76 is getting the pit.
Yeah,
kind of
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, basically there was a DLC for Fallout 3 called The Pit. That basically you went to a whole different area. That was like a lot of some of the old school Fallout DLCs were like, oh, they just integrate new stories into the existing map, and the others were they just took you a totally different place and pretended it was part of Fallout 3. That's what The Pit was. So now it's like a whole like story, a whole location for Fallout 76, which is coming out this
That's
September. Yeah. Let me see. Overwatch 2. They had a free-to-play trailer showing the new character, which is the Junker Queen, who's a kind of a wastelander.
Yeah.
Early access for that is coming out. It's funny to just keep thinking like Overwatch, Diablo. Those are all going to be. I don't know if they're going to be exclusive to Xbox, but they're going to be owned by Xbox. You know.
Yeah.
So, Microsoft's Flight Simulator, they are going to release a bunch of new aircraft, including helicopters, and then they released the Halo's Pelican, and it's like available
this looks
now.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
and you can go into space apparently.
Yeah,
that was like a big shocker to people. They're like, "What? You can? It's Microsoft Flight Simulator, and now apparently you can go to space."
Yeah.
The question is how far and like how. Like, can I go to the moon? That would be cool.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
We don't exactly have pictures of it, though. I'd imagine it's probably not that. It's probably a more zoomed out Earth.
Yeah, I have a feeling that as well. Speaking of Forza Motorsport, they had a reveal trailer, showed like very, very detailed graphics. To be honest, I've mentioned this before. I'm not a huge car racing video game person, and even though I got really into Forza Horizon, I don't know if I'd get into Forza Motorsport because it's just, you know, with Horizon you're traveling or traversing
Horizon's
a big area.
Always been the better one, in my opinion. It's always been the better part of the franchise.
I know it's racing, but it feels less racing in that game, right? There's exploration, there's, you know, with Motorsport it just seems more like track racing, which is not really my thing.
And in my opinion, like literally, in my opinion, could be a hot take, but in my opinion, the Hot Wheels DLC that they're doing for Forza Horizon is going to be more fun than Motorsport.
Possible.
Yeah,
it's possible. Plague's Tale Requiem had another trailer.
Yeah, it did. It did. The trailer looked really good. I'll be honest. I still haven't played the first game, but I've heard really good things about the story.
Yeah, I need to play that. It's on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and like the rat mechanics look great. They had to build their own engine for the rats.
This one I think looks great. This is not an Xbox exclusive, but it's coming on Game Pass. Yes, but it's coming out on Game Pass.
Baby.
See, I'm telling you, man. I mean, that's the thing about Game Pass.
Justin Roiland, he has
the creator of Rick and Morty,
a game company called Squanch Games.
Yep,
which is the most Justin Roiland thing I've ever heard in my life. Squanch Games. I like it because it's like, I love how like I can totally think about how they were sitting at the table and came up with the idea for this. Justin Roiland, being the voice actor that he is going to his like team of video game developers. Hey guys, I can do funny voices. How do we use my funny voices in a game and get people to take it seriously? And they're like, well, what if we make all the guns able to talk and you do the voices for all the guns? Or knife, stabby knife that loves to stab. It looked like a lot of fun actually. Not only does it look silly and goofy, it actually looked good. Like the mechanics look pretty clean. Like the gun, like the actual weapon. The weapon mechanics look better than it did in Starfield. I can say that much. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and the fact that it's going to be on Game Pass. If it is coming to Game Pass, then I'm really excited. And is it this October? That's soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So. This looks good. I was a fan of, what was the other game that he created?
It's on the tip of my tongue right now.
Trover
Saves the Universe.
That was kind of a platformy puzzle game. And then
I didn't get to I didn't get to play it in VR. I played it normally.
Oh,
but apparently
it's
it's
fun in VR.
loads of fun in VR.
Yeah, it's on Quest now.
I do
Quest
like
now.
the option that they give you to be able to play it either with VR or without.
Yeah,
Like, it was sold in both versions. That was pretty cool.
You can play in non-VR. VR just helps with the puzzles. So
I can imagine there were some puzzles where I struggled because I couldn't really get the depth of view. Yeah, and I couldn't really see where I was jumping. It was tricky, man.
Yeah, but I'm excited.
That was a fun game.
Dude, you know, that's what I'm saying. Is Game Pass. It's like, oh, that's a game I would maybe buy. But now I don't have to because it's on Game Pass. I'm going to play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, oh, this is one. I guess this is the last thing we should talk about, but it's actually a pretty big one, which is Redfall. It opened up the showcase. Coming from Arcane, I think is it Arcane Austin that is doing this?
I just know it's Arcane. I don't know which Arcane.
And we finally see gameplay
It is
footage.
Arcane Austin, yeah. Arcane Austin.
Because we had only previously seen a teaser cinematic. So it looks much like Left 4 Dead, right? It's like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Instead of zombies, it's vampires. And then you kind of have abilities. You have your guns, obviously,
Hang around
but
the
you
Hulu
also have abilities. It looks cool. I mean, I don't know if it's not going to be any... It doesn't look like it'd be any kind of genre-defining type of game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it just looks like it possibly could be fun.
It looks like a fun, good time, yeah.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that they say that it's going to be... Even though you're playing in co-op, they said it's going to feel like a classic Arcane single-player game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting to me because, for me, I don't think of guns when I think of Arcane games.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's not the first thing I think of, but I don't know. Overall, it looks fun. Like it looks fun. You know. That was my biggest takeaway is that it looks like it's something that I definitely would play. Like at no point in time am I like, oh, this looks boring. This looks like genuinely a load of fun. And it's nice to have, like, at least know more as to what the hell it's going to be, you know?
Yeah, and this is, one of those games where, like, you
can play it alone as well, apparently. That's what I said. You can single player it if you want, or co-op.
They probably have, AI for
the
co-op characters. But, yeah, it looks interesting. Obviously not coming out until next year as well. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, there's a ton of stuff we didn't get covered. We just can't because we got to go get into some other news stories as well.
It's worth mentioning Arc 2 as well. More of a reminder that Arc 2 is happening because I completely forgot about the Arc 2 announcement. Supposedly, though, it's going to be very different from the original Arc Survival Revolved. Like from what people are saying, because they're saying it's got Souls-like melee combat. Third-person game with Souls-like melee combat, which is very different from the Arc game. The Arc game doesn't have any kind of strategy involved to its combat. It's more like just hit, and run. Yeah, they're changing up the melee combat. What else are they changing here? It's going to be cross-platform modding. That's good. Component-based item crafting. That's normal for them. Dynamic world events. Oh, yeah, that's right. They're putting an emphasis on dynamic world events, which I'm assuming is similar to what Fortnite does with their like really giant big events each season that changes the map and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so weird seeing Vin Diesel on a dinosaur.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw him.
Hey, we got a lot of Callisto Protocol gameplay. That was nice. That was
that was
very welcoming. Yeah,
during the Summer Game Fest, which we should talk about now. Which some of the big announcements were we already knew The Last of Us remake was coming, but it's officially revealed. It's coming in September, not that far off.
Crazy that there's going to be 3 different versions of that game.
Yeah,
there's
remastered.
The original Last of Us.
Yeah,
the remastered, and then this version.
And the remake.
And in my opinion, from what I saw, there wasn't that
huge of a difference. It didn't.
From the remastered one, it was a very small difference. Like it looks a lot more polished, but the remastered one holds up really freaking well.
That's the one I played because I had originally played the original one on the PS3, and then I've mentioned this many times in previous podcasts about all of my issues with playing that game. Like, not issues in terms of the game itself, but just technical problems that stopped me from playing it. And then I ended up just playing the whole thing, the remastered version on PS4, and it looked great.
It looked great, man. Yeah. I will say I'm happy with this blah blah English. Sorry, I do speak it. I promise. With this version, it's coming to PC, which I believe is the only version on PC, unless unless you're using some kind of video game streaming service. Like I believe previously, well, I mean, you still technically can. You're just paying more for it now. You could be using Sony's streaming service to play the game on your PC through your browser. But yeah, and it's nice to know that it will be coming to PC though.
Yeah,
I'll pick it up at some point. Just
I won't pick it up until there's basically Last of Us part 1 and part 2 together released on PC. I think that's kind of my move. That way I can just play the whole series, or play them back to back. Yeah.
The thing I'm more excited about is that they said that they are working on a multiplayer game.
Yes.
Last of Us multiplayer game. Because I think I've said this before, the thing that I enjoyed the most about The Last of Us, the first game, which I played the most in depth, I still don't think I got a chance to really get into The Last of Us Part 2. But the first game, I loved the multiplayer, man. Like the multiplayer was loads of fun. It was strategic, you know what I mean? And to a degree. Because it wasn't, obviously with the way that The Last of Us works, you can't just be like guns blazing, running around corners. No. So like, it made the multiplayer a lot more rewarding,
Yeah, what's interesting about this is that they announced how big it is. They said it's like
San Francisco.
Big, well, it's also a bigger. It has a story, which is great because I love story, and then 2, it's as big as the other games, so it's gonna be huge. I don't know how.
Emphasis on multiplayer, which I genuinely am looking forward to. I don't know if anybody was like had gripes with this because, in my opinion, The Last of Us gameplay is so good that it really does deserve a fantastic multiplayer standalone game or something. So the fact that it's also getting a story is a bonus. I think that's gonna be cool.
Yeah. We're not sure when this is coming out, but we'll probably hear more about it.
It says 2023. Oh, we won't. Sorry, no, that we won't even hear more about it until 2023.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a long way away. Street Fighter 6 looks great. Nothing else to really say there. I just think it looks
just
really
Return
good.
of Guy. I didn't know he was gone. I mean, Street Fighter 2 was like a game I was obsessed with when I was younger. I used to go to arcades all the time, and once it came to like Genesis, I would just play it all the time. I played some Street Fighter 3 or Turbo, and then Alpha, and then a little of 3, but then I just kind of fell off from it.
I think he was missing in 6, I'm guessing. I mean, in 5.
No, 5.
I'm guessing he was missing in 5.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, he's like...
All I know is it looks fresh. And I'm happy for any kind of, like, next-gen, like, fighting game, just because we don't have one yet currently, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be happy if this was Mortal Kombat or Tekken or anything like that. It's just that this... I don't know, something about the art style as well. It looks fresh, and that somehow makes me want to play it more, It looks more crisp.
Yeah, Guile was my guy. He's the guy I used to always play with the old school Street Fighter.
He's the guy that looks like he got hit on the head with a mallet, right? And the pancake hair, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they showed off this Aliens Dark Descent, which I didn't know what to expect from this. It looked quite interesting.
I still need to play Isolation because I've heard a lot of good things about it, and it's on Game Pass
Isolation
as well.
Was pretty fun.
Yeah,
we don't know much about the game, to be honest. They just had a cinematic trailer.
Yeah, I forgot to mention they also had the first kind of look, which is just a picture of Pedro Pascal as Joel and Belly Ramsey as Ellie in the Last of Us HBO series. Just to show you, hey, this is how it's gonna look. It looks very. I think Neil Druckmann said it was going to be like the most like authentic video game adaptation. So it doesn't sound like they're going to stray too far from what we've already seen, which is, a good and bad thing, right? Because it seems like it's going to be very faithful to what we liked, but maybe for people who've played the game, seeing exactly the same thing, you know what I mean? It's like
it could be a bit, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. At least the first season for me will be a bit bland until they, specifically because I've played the first game so in depth. I know everything that's gonna happen there. I don't know much about what happens in part 2. So when they get to that part, I'm gonna be really excited.
You should play it, man.
I'm still excited to see how
you should play it.
They execute it. I'm still, yeah. I'm excited to see how they execute this, though. You know, like like it's gonna be nice to like see the show and relate it to what I saw in game and how different it looks or how similar it looks. You know, one thing that I was most excited about for the Summer Games Fest was they showed a lot of Callisto Protocol, though.
Yeah.
They gave us like a good chunk of gameplay for Callisto Protocol that looked like a lot of fun. A lot of memorable like obviously a lot of memorable characters from the original Dead Space series. But yeah, it looked like a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, it looks very scary. Graphics look great. It's basically a lot of the same team that from the original Dead Space.
It comes out this year, man.
And
December
people were
2nd.
Yeah, and people were hyped about this. It looks freaky too.
It does. Another thing that they showed off, which is worth talking about, but not really, is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I will say, it looks good.
Hang around.
There's nothing there that makes me go, oh wow, this is new and refreshing. It just looks like really, really like polished Call of Duty. That's all I got out of it, which I'm more than happy to get. But it's like I don't need this game every single year. Especially when I know for a fact I can have I can have a good Call of Duty experience right now playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, which is not the previous Modern Warfare. It's so confusing, this series. There's so many different names. I hate it. I hate it so much, man, because it's like I can't even when I say Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, people don't know which fucking Modern Warfare I'm talking about.
I don't know.
I hate it. Anyways, but the point is I hate that there's a game like this every year. And the thing that I hate most is that like I'm probably not gonna get this game, but if I get the option to get it, I will, because it like the map that they're on, the boat, like that was from Modern Warfare 2 as well. Like I know that like I got nostalgia from the map that they were on, and I was like, God damn it, it's gonna have the freaking maps that I want to play, and I think I might actually play it. It's so weird. Like they actually got me with this trailer. That's what I'm upset about. You know, and it's a trap. It's the same freaking game every year, but I fell for it, and I want to play it now.
Well, that's the one thing of note is after this year, they're not going to do the yearly schedule anymore. They're not going to do the annual releases because they already have Warzone. You know, you can't do Warzone and do these annual releases. It's like that's too much, which I'm glad to hear. Two, I'm glad there's more of an emphasis back to single player. I remember when they had the Call of Duty Blackout or whatever that was called. It had zero first single player campaign. It's like I'm one of the rare people that like I'm actually more about the single player campaigns in these games instead of the multiplayer.
And this campaign does look good. It's got all your favorites as well.
Yeah.
It's got all my favorites. You know, we got Soap. I love me some good old Soap McTavish.
Yeah, this comes out October 27th.
John Price, you know, got all the favorites. They showed off that psychedelic horror game, which it reminded me a lot of what was that game that we reviewed on Game Pass? The
Medium
thriller horror game, The Medium. It reminded me a lot
because the
of that.
same team. It's the same team.
Yeah,
Bloober.
No freaking wonder. Okay,
Bloober
I was like,
team.
wow, I'm getting heavy Medium vibes from this. No wonder. That makes a lot of sense now. Yeah, look, I hate these kinds. I hate horror, but there's something about this game that made me want to play it because the experience looked quite different. I like the psychedelic aspect of it. You know what I mean? And to be fair, I enjoyed the Medium, and I hate horror games, but
yeah,
I think the reason I enjoyed the Medium was because the art style was so unique. I wasn't scared of it. I was like, wow, this thing that's chasing me looks really, really intricate. It looks horrifying, but really intricate and detailed. And
I really enjoyed the story that they were telling.
Yeah,
and the way they were telling.
I love the world as well. Like everything, just the art style is what really kept me captivated, man. And you're right. Like it was also a good, rewarding storyline. The way it worked out. So I'd say I am looking forward to this game as well.
Yeah.
I still feel like they didn't show us anything about Midnight Suns, Marvel Midnight Suns.
You know what's hilarious is like Xbox was like kind of almost like trolling themselves. They were like going like Spider-Man has come to Xbox, you know, and like it was kind of more tongue-in-cheek because they know like, look, this isn't Spider-Man like Spider-Man Miles Morales or Spider-Man on the PS4 or 5, that this is just Spider-Man the character is going to be in a game that's going to be, you know what I mean, that's like this turn-based game.
It's like it's this XCOM style game.
Yeah, so they were just kind of tongue-in-cheek making it a big deal. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's not my style of game, but I'll probably keep an eye on it and see what people say about it.
Yeah,
It's coming in October.
You play as a child of Lilith, making the story personal from the very
Hang
outset.
around the Hulu.
Seems like it's a very heavy story emphasis as well, and lore based and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to play it just because I'm not a fan of that genre or that
Was the
style of
XCOM?
game.
The XCOM
Yeah,
style?
it just never got to me, man.
Mhm.
Even the most simplistic version of that genre is the
Mhm.
Mario Rabbids crossover game on a Nintendo, and
Mhm.
even that I couldn't enjoy, and that's like a super bare bones version.
Um,
Yeah, they
Gotham-
showed we
Gotham
got some more
Knights.
Gotham Knights gameplay. Nothing really new there, to be
Nightwing.
honest. Yeah,
Nightwing
wasn't too
gameplay
much new.
trailer. So
We
I'm
got
looking
a
forward to this game.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. That looked good. The Shredder's Revenge. I'll say that looked
Yeah.
good. Looked good fun.
Yeah.
They showed off more Saints Row, which is like cool, but at the same time, I don't think that this game is gonna sell that well, just because it's like it is an oversaturated kind of thing. Like that genre has been played out for a very long time, and I think it's the wrong time to bring it back. It could be fun. It looks good, but I just don't think people are gonna be playing. Like they might just play it just because there's like it's gonna take years before GTA 7 comes out, you know, or I mean GTA 6. So I don't know. I just don't know how this game's gonna perform. Though it does look like fun. It does look good. Yeah, we got more Cuphead stuff coming. Humankind coming to consoles.
Yeah.
Witchfire. That's what I wanted to talk about. This looked
Yeah.
freaking weird, man. This literally made me think like Elden Ring with guns, if that makes sense. Did you see this Witchfire?
No, I did not. Let me take a look at
I mean, the world makes me think like, okay, well, not Elden Ring, but it looks like it's a dark fantasy world, but you a sorcerer with guns.
Oh yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
actually
I did see this
yeah.
trailer. It
Hang
looked
around
cool.
the Hulu motel.
It did look cool.
It did look cool. There was another game that they showed off over the weekend. I forgot what it was. That looked very similar to this, but this looked like the more polished version. So I will say that this does look quite interesting. It was announced back in 2017 already. Oh wow. Hopefully the game comes out soon then. If it was announced all the way back then, 5 years ago, that's when it was announced. Yeah, like I'm just looking at this gameplay again. It actually does look like a lot of fun. It's just interesting the way that they fuse it together. It has been done before with Tiny Tina Wonderlands, the game that came out recently. But like that has the whole Borderlands cell shaded theme going on. This literally looks like a Dark Souls type world, but with guns. You know.
Yeah. It looks like
I can't help
with
but say it, but
Doom-like gameplay or whatever.
yeah, like I can't help but say it, but it's literally like Elden Ring meets Doom or something. You know what I mean? It looks good.
Looks cool.
It looks really good. Yeah. There's a couple other things they announced, but nothing too interesting. There was this thing called Stormgate that got announced, which is from ex-Blizzard devs. It's an RTS game, and I just mentioned it because I like RTS games. They showed us a cutscene so that we don't know anything about the game.
Hang around the
In actual
Hulu
fact, when they
motel.
showed us the cutscene, nobody even knew it was a freaking RTS. It wasn't until someone came out afterwards to say it's an RTS that people were like, "Oh, okay, so that's what it is," because it was just a cutscene, you know. It could have been a freaking first-person shooter for all we know. Goat Simulator 3, I can't believe that's happening. Oh, that's right. This was just for me. Maybe this made me very happy. But they showed off a trailer for One Piece Odyssey, and the art style looked beautiful. Like there's a scene of like them like crashing through the clouds, and it's like the clouds almost had that like clouds almost had that like 3D toy feeling. You know what I'm talking about? Where they like 3D animation kind of looks like real life plastic. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but I loved what I saw. There was very little of what I saw, but I loved what I saw. And I know Ichiro Oda is working on the story, so it's gonna be good. The story at least, because every One Piece standalone game, the story's been average or lackluster. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this One Piece Odyssey game. It looks like goofy fun. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, anything else?
No, I mean,
like you said, a bunch of other things, but like not really other big things worth talking about.
yeah, the
about
Capcom
it,
showcase
really.
is happening right now, but we'll probably have to tackle that next time.
Another time, yeah.
Just a just a lot of stuff between the Xbox Bethesda showcase and then the Summer Game Fest. It's a lot of announcements for games that are coming in the future, but not anytime soon. I'm still slowly going through Guardians of the Galaxy. It's fun. It's more the story than the actual gameplay combat,
Yeah.
That just, at least so far, just seems pretty simplistic. It's not bad.
One of the other
It's just okay.
I think one of the other times, like, I know we said we weren't going to talk about it. There's nothing to talk about, but I do think it's a cool crossover as the whole Riot and Game Pass teaming up. They're not exactly giving us the coolest thing in the world. It's essentially like for every single Riot game there is out there, well, they're popular ones at least, you unlock all the characters and unlock all the things, which is great. For instance, in League of Legends, you unlock all the champions. That's actually awesome. You can unlock all the champions just by playing the game and grinding them, but it takes so long, and there are so many champions. So that's actually so beneficial. But then it's like, you can also unlock all the agents in Valorant. And that, if you've been playing Valorant, it's just useless, because you've already got all the agents unlocked, unless you're brand new, fresh to the game. But same with League of Legends Wild Rift, which is the mobile version, all the champions unlocked. Yeah. I thought it was cool. It was a cool little bonus. It's not like it's saving you money, but it's saving you time, which is what I like. Like, everything it's giving you is something that can be earned in game by grinding. But you can just unlock them automatically and just hop straight into playing the game, which is what I like. So yeah, cool. Hopefully they do more. That's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully there's more like cooler things that they do in the future. Like, if this is successful for them, this whole Riot Games crossover with Game Pass. Hopefully in the future, maybe I'll get some cool skins or something, That's what I'm really hoping for. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Considering skins cost an arm and a leg in Valorant, I would be very happy for that.
Yeah, this is, since we have a little more time than I thought, there were some games that looked very interesting and that I hadn't heard about, and I'm not sure I'd buy, but because they're coming to Game Pass, I'll try it. Like, The Last Case of Benedict Fox. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
That one.
Hang around the hoop.
That looked kind of cool. It's like kind of a side scroller, but it kind of has this kind of art style to it. It has kind of a mystery / supernatural element to it that I kind of
Light Your Frontier looked pretty cool, I think. I mean, it's essentially like, I love how, like, I watched this with a friend, and he was like, "Oh, cool, giant mech suit," and he was like assuming combat and stuff, but it's a farming simulator essentially. You know what I mean? You're in this cool like giant mech suit. You could be there with your buddies, but it is essentially like a cool farming exploration driven game, which I like. I love farming games because I find them very calming. But it seems like there is this kind of deeper undertone about the world that you can discover or something, which I liked as well.
There's this game called Ravenlock, which is basically looks like Alice in Wonderland meets Legend of Zelda. It's kind of like
interesting as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Scorn. We may as well. Scorn looked cool. I don't know if I'll play it, but it was that like super gory, bloody horror game that was like it looked really trippy, man. Like, I think you were like, the beginning looked like you were being like, I could be wrong. I don't want to say it, but yeah, it just looks so like it looks like it's based off of Prometheus. Is it Prometheus?
Yeah, H.R.
Hang
Geiger.
around the Hulu Motel.
Yeah,
H.R. Geiger, who created the Alien.
Yeah, it has that like vibe if you're looking at the screenshots and stuff. But yeah, that looked pretty interesting. So that's also something to keep an eye on, I think, is Scorn. It's going to be day one on Game Pass, October 21st.
Yeah, most of these that they showed...
Biopunk survival horror is what they're calling it. Yeah, that looked really cool, I'm not going to lie. Hey, and that's coming day one on Game Pass. I'm excited about that. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, just download, play it, see if you like it. You know what I mean? It's such a great way to save money and also play games that maybe you wouldn't have played before, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Anything else? in here that we want to talk
I mean,
about?
like a bunch of other small things, but nothing really like super big, worth talking about, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing like it doesn't look like there's anything like too big that we missed out or anything.
So yeah, just the Starfield thing was big. The Hideo Kojima Xbox thing was big. The Last of Us multiplayer thing, I think, was big. It was like, I had assumed that multiplayer was just going to be, kind of like an add-on, right? Just like, hey, you can play in multiplayer now. Kind of like Red Dead Online, It's like, okay, here's a bonus. You can play this online. But it's actually seems like the fact that it has a story, the fact that it's in a completely different environment. It's not like they're like, oh, let's just reuse the environments that we already made and make them multiplayer friendly. It's like, no, it's going to be a whole new environment, whole new characters, whole new story.
It's a whole new area, isn't it? Or was it?
Yeah.
Like it's San Francisco. Where was where were the first games based in again?
I think the first game was like in whatchamacallit.
But the point is, it's not in San Francisco, so it is a new area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's quite cool.
It was on the East Coast because I remember they traveled to the West Coast in the second game.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
So those are my big.
I don't know if this is big news, but supposedly moving forward, the Grammys have added a video game score category.
That's cool.
I think that's pretty cool. If you can now win, dude, it's needed. I don't know if I think I told you this, but like most like orchestras, like they make more money playing video game music or like going and playing video game music because like most video games use like big orchestrated things. You know what I mean? That's that's how they make their money
cool.
nowadays.
I wish the Oscars or Emmys had a game category.
Exactly,
I know they're not.
Yeah.
I know they're not going to cover like every single category.
They
like
could have like
the
best
Game Awards,
voice actor or something at least.
or how about just best
Oscars,
game?
You know,
best game,
Yeah.
and then they could actually gear it towards maybe cinematically. Like instead of judging
yeah.
the gameplay, right? They're just going to talk about it coming
Like
across
God
as
of
a
War
story.
could easily have won.
Like Red Dead, Red Dead
Redemption
Redemption 2. I'm just thinking of these games
too as well. Yeah.
these type of games that are like bigger. Like, for example, okay, I love the Fallout franchise, right? I don't think that would win this hypothetical Oscar for video games just because it's not. Even though I do like the story and the environment and everything, it's not told in like a cinematic way.
Is that I believe that they would if in this hypothetical Oscar scenario where they had to give a game an Oscar, it wouldn't be every year. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be years where there just isn't a cinematic game. You know, like if there's like just a year of amazing first-person shooters, it's not going to win an Oscar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do like that adding it to Grammys because, dude, music in games is a huge thing, and people put so much passion into music in games. You know. And they do their own things. It's fantastic. So that is, I think that is good news overall.
All right, cool. What are you playing now? Recently, now that our Elden Ring. Oh, that reminds us that we still haven't done our Elden Ring spoiler review.
And we should actually. I was gonna say we should before I like
forget everything.
I need. Well, I forget it. I actually want to write down because there's so much that I want to talk about in the review. I need to make sure I like have a list of like key points that I hit because I know if I forget one and like a week later I'll be kicking myself. I'm like, crap, I didn't mention this thing, you know. And it's not like we're gonna make a second video on it, so I want to make sure I get it all out in like a good video. Currently, I've been playing a lot of Dota, which is I don't recommend to anybody ever. Like I really don't recommend anybody play Dota. I actually stopped playing Valorant for a while because the community, it's always been a toxic community, but it just finally got to me. I was like, I just can't play this game anymore. It's a game because it's a game that relies heavily on communication and like it's a tactical shooter. So you need to like do call outs and talk to your teammates the game wants you to use your microphone. And because of that, you're always talking to people. So the shit you hear sometimes is just so horrible. Like even if it's not said to you, if they're saying it to
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
else, you're just like, oh, you don't want to be in the same room. You know what I mean? And you're technically like digitally in the same room. Anyways, the game got so toxic, I needed to take a break, which sucks because I believe the game itself is probably for me. It's like a drug or an itch that it scratches. I love it. It's so competitive and sweaty, and the mechanics are so amazing. But the community is so trash. So I've been playing a lot of Dota, which is also a very toxic community, but it's all text based, so I don't have to hear it, which has been wonderful. You know, I played a bit of No Man's Sky because their updates with the mercenaries has been really exciting and interesting to play. And yeah, what else was it? I got back into Fallout 76 because I had some buddies to play with. Oh, and I've been playing Halo again. I've been
nice.
enjoying. I tried out a couple of the new maps, a couple of new modes. I've been having fun with it. Last Spartan Standing's been fun as well.
Yeah, I
So
like
I've been
that
playing a
mode.
bit of I've been playing a bit of Halo as well, which is cool.
Yeah, I need to get back into that as well. I like the Last Spartan Standing because it's kind of a compromise of a battle royale. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no. I've been playing I've been playing Tactical Slayer, man. That's been fun. No shields, no nothing. It's just you have no shields, and essentially it's like more tactical weapons that you'll get with. Everyone starts with either snipers or pistols, or it's very tactical. Like that's been fun for me. I've been playing Tactical Slayer a lot, as well as normal Slayer. But yeah, I have like 4 or 5 other people to play with, so we usually do like a full 6v6 5v5 game, and everyone's communicating and we play really well together. It's fun. The game's definitely obviously like way more fun if you have a whole team to communicate with. Surprised that we didn't hear anything about co-op.
No, dude, that
Not
stuff
a
keeps
single thing about no Halo co-op was mentioned.
the
on the
last
back burner.
the last thing they
Forge.
said they were talking about was August, but since there was nothing talked about in this particular showcase, it's don't know.
No Forge, no co-op. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
At least they were able to distract us with all the other wonderful announcements.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Thanks for joining us and watching or listening. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog, or subscribe to our podcast feed, which is on anchor.fm. You can follow me on Twitter @ThinkHero, Instagram Dennis.tzng. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on the Revog Discord channel if you guys ever want to talk video games or anything. And you guys can find me on Twitch @It'sThespis, all lowercase, all one word. Yeah.
All right, cool. Until next time, see you guys later.
Later.